Namaskar viewers, hello and welcome to Sansad TV. I am Tina Jha, you're watching Perspective. Veteran leader Mallikarjun Kharge has formally taken charge as the president of the Congress party, taking over the baton from the longest serving party chief Sonia Gandhi. The first non-Gandhi president in 24 years, Kharge was handed over the certificate of election to the top post at the AICC headquarters in New Delhi. The 80-year-old Kharge described it as an emotional moment, thanking the party for making a worker's son and an ordinary worker president of the grand old party. Citing Rahul Gandhi's slogan, daro mat, to energize workers, Kharge declared that the party will demolish the government system of lies, treachery and hatred. Handing over the reins of the party to Kharge, Mrs. Sonia Gandhi said, "Change is the rule of the world." She said it is her biggest satisfaction that the new Congress president is very experienced and has risen from being an ordinary worker to such heights through his hard work. Now, what will be the top priorities for the new Congress president? The expectations of party workers from the new chief and, most importantly, the challenges that lie ahead for Mallikarjun Kharge. All this and much more in perspective today with an esteemed panel of guests who are joining me on the program. Pleased to welcome in the studio Dr. Ajay Upadhyay, spokesperson Congress, Aditi Fadnis, political editor, Business Standard, and joining us virtually are two journalists, Mr. Shekhar Iyer and Mr. Sandeep Fukur. Thank you to all my guests for joining me on the program. Dr. Upadhyay, let me begin the program today with you. First of all, let's understand how big a day it is for the Congress party. What are the kind of expectations that you have now from the new party president?
मैम, जिस तरह की आज कवायद हुई है, पिछले 3-4 महीनों के बाद एक राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष के चुनाव की प्रक्रिया पूर्ण हुई है और जिस तरह से हमारे हजारों कार्यकर्ताओं ने इसमें सहभागिता सुनिश्चित करके एक अनुभवी वरिष्ठ कांग्रेस को, जो कांग्रेस का अध्यक्ष जो आज बने हैं, वो ब्लॉक कांग्रेस कमेटी से अपने राजनीतिक जीवन की शुरुआत की थी। 9 बार एमएलए रहे, 2 बार एमपी रहे, एक बड़ा अनुभव उनका है। तो निश्चित तौर पे ये एक प्रक्रिया अपने आप में बहुत ही सार्थक और सकारात्मक तरीके से कांग्रेस पार्टी के संरचनात्मक विकास, मैं कहता हूँ ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल डेवलपमेंट के लिए एक बड़ा ही आज बेहद खुशी का समय था हम सब के लिए। हम सब उसमें सहभागी रहे हैं। जिस तरह 9000 डेलीगेट्स चुने गए और उन लोगों ने, चुने हुए लोगों ने आज राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष का चुनाव किया, जिसका आज नतीजा है कि इतने मैं कहूँगा कि अनुभवी वृद्ध रुझारू नेता, जिनका अनुभव हम सबको लाभ आने वाले फ्यूचर में मिलेगा। और आज जिस तरह से उन्होंने अपने स्पीच पदभार ग्रहण समारोह में किया है कि कैसे कांग्रेस पार्टी के अंदर की चैलेंजेस और देश के अंदर की चैलेंजेस दोनों को कैसे हमें आगे लेकर के जाना है। पहली बात है कि पार्टी के अंदर आज जिस तरह से युवाओं को स्पेस देना है, जिस तरह से एक डेमोक्रेटिक स्पेस आज क्रिएट हुआ है, उसको और आगे लेकर जाना है। और जो चिंतन शिविर हुआ था उदयपुर में, उसके जो हमारे लक्ष्य हैं, उन लक्ष्यों को पूरा करना है। कैसे पार्टी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन और लोगों के बीच जाकर के काम करे और लोगों के बीच जो पार्टी की जो विश्वसनीयता है वो और बढ़े, इस पर हमें एक एक्शन प्लान जो चिंतन शिविर में था उसको लागू करना है। और साथ में देश के अंदर जो सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज है, झूठ और फरेब का जो दौर चल रहा है, जिस तरह से हुक्मरान जो सत्ता में बैठे हैं लोकतंत्र को कहीं ना कहीं पश्चिम के दायरे में लाना चाहते हैं, लोकतंत्र को कमजोर करना चाहते हैं, उनसे कैसे हमारी जो पुरानी विरासत रही है, कांग्रेस की विरासत, जो देश के संविधान के साथ चलने की विरासत है, उसके साथ चलकर हम कैसे देश के संविधान को और मजबूत करें और लोकतंत्र की मजबूती में जो भी काम हो सके, कांग्रेस का एक-एक कार्यकर्ता उसमें सहयोगी की भूमिका में रहेगा। और माननीय राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष के नेतृत्व में कांग्रेस परिवार एक संगठित होकर के, सुव्यवस्थित होकर के और सुनियोजित ढंग से हम आगे बढ़ेंगे, काम करेंगे।
ठीक है, इससे पहले कि मैं और पैनलिस्ट के पास जाऊं उनकी प्रतिक्रिया के लिए एक छोटा सा सवाल, और आपने जिसका जिक्र आज खड़गे साहब ने भी किया है, युवाओं को स्पेस देना। एक आम आदमी के जहन में जो इस पूरी प्रक्रिया को कांग्रेस पार्टी में देख रहा है, उसके मन में एक सवाल यह है कि जब आप युवाओं पर इतना जोर दे रहे हैं, उदयपुर रेजोल्यूशन को इंप्लीमेंट करने की बात कर रहे हैं, अंडर 50 इयर्स ऑफ एज के लोगों को आप 50% सीट्स देना चाहते हैं, तो जब शशि थरूर जो कंपैरेटिवली एक यंगर कैंडिडेट थे, उनके ऊपर आपने 80 साल के खड़गे साहब को क्यों चुना? ये
2 बातें थी। चुनाव का जब राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष के पद की बात आई तो कांग्रेस के कार्यकर्ताओं ने, जिसमें जो डेलीगेट्स हमारे चुने गए हैं 9000 में से 50% डेलीगेट जो हैं वो 50 की एज से कम के हैं। और उन सबने इस बात को देखा कि जब 2 लोगों का कंपैरिजन आएगा तो राजनीतिक दृष्टिकोण से अनुभव किसका है, अनुभव को तरजीह दी। और अनुभव में निश्चित तौर पे, हालांकि शशि थरूर साहब का भी अनुभव है, उन्होंने 15 साल से कांग्रेस की राजनीति का समय दिया है और उससे पहले वो अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर उनका एक अपना पहचान रहा है। संगठन के स्तर पर लेकिन खड़गे साहब उनसे बेहतर हर लेवल पे थे और शायद इस कारण से कार्यकर्ताओं ने, जो इलेक्टेड हमारे मेंबर थे, उन लोगों ने उनको चुनने का काम किया।
ठीक है, आगे आने वाले चैलेंजेस को
दूसरा जो
कैसे
है विचारधारा हमारी हो रही है।
ठीक है।
विचारधारा में दोनों लोग कमिटमेंट है, इनकी प्रतिबद्धता निश्चित तौर पे प्रूवन है। जब 9 बार एमएलए रहे, एमपी रहे और इतने वर्षों से कांग्रेस के पार्टी के संगठन में लगातार काम किया, एक सामान्य मिल मजदूर का बेटा आज जिस समाज से आता है और एक गरीब परिवार से आकर के आज यहां है, तो ये कार्यकर्ताओं के लिए भी एक अपने आप में प्रेरणा की बात है और हम सब प्रेरित हैं इनके इस, और पार्टी ने एक ऐसा व्यक्तित्व, ऐसा चेहरा दिया है जो आने वाले फ्यूचर में आम लोगों के लिए भी एक मिसाल
बिल्कुल अनडाउटेडली एक हिस्टोरिकल मोमेंट है, बट आगे चल के चैलेंजेस भी बहुत सारे हैं, उस पर हम थोड़ी देर में बात करेंगे। मैं अदिति जी के पास जाना चाहूंगी। You know, the fact that it is a historical moment for a party, for the grand old party of the country, which has had a Gandhi family member at the helm for over 4 decades. Kharge's anointment, of course, is a historical moment. But the kind of transformation that the workers are now expecting in terms of, you know, challenging the ruling party, the Congress party currently is at its lowest ebb. So lots of reforms going forth will be required. So in that aspect, what are the kind of transformations that you see Mallikarjun Kharge bringing about to the Congress party?
So for 24 years there have been no elections in the party, which in itself is a very big event for any post. Mr. Kharge will have to choose one of 3 options. He will either be a president who will be totally independent minded, or he will be led by the Gandhi family, or he will be the bridge between the party organization and the Gandhi family. These are the 3 models that he has before him. He can be completely independent minded, as past Congress presidents have been, and act on his own. He can be guided by the family, which creates both questions and doubts about the actual permeation of democracy in the Congress. Basically act as a proxy, and he can be a go-between those who feel that they cannot really stand up to the family which has made so many sacrifices. Undeniably there have been sacrifices for the Congress, can also be wrong in some ways. So will he point that out to them? Will he say that you are wrong in, say, changing a chief minister who was popular on the ground but need not agree with you, or whether you should give a person a chance only because he is younger in age, superseding the support that a chief minister might have in the legislature party? You know what I'm talking about, and so on. So all these questions will have to be resolved. He will also have to ensure that there are elections to the Congress Working Committee, because now that cannot be put off anymore. And he will have to ensure that he stays safe while challenging some of the notions. The Congress has got used to being led, and led by a Gandhi. So putting somebody else in that position will not be so easy for him as well as for the party to accept.
Absolutely, that's an interesting thing to say. Let me get in Mr. Iyer's perspective on that. Mr. Iyer, Aditi ji points out 3 options in which Mr. Kharge could go. So which one do you think could emerge as the most likely scenario, knowing that Mr. Kharge also himself has a vast organizational experience, he is an articulate leader, and his advantage is that he can speak well in Hindi as well as English. We've seen him take on the BJP government several times as leader of opposition in Rajya Sabha.
Well, Tina ji, knowing Kharge's personality, he could be in all the 3 roles. I mean, he need not be this or that or this. Well, on record, he has stated he'll be guided by the Sonia Gandhi and other members of the Gandhi family, Rahul Gandhi. He has often taken the name of Rahul Gandhi. Even today, he praised Rahul Gandhi's role in shaping the future of the Congress, particularly his Bharat Jodo Yatra. That could be there. And secondly, there could be issues where he will act as a bridge, as Aditi ji said. Yes, that is also possible. And the third, yes, there could be areas where, the Gandhi family would want that he acts independently. because that is also possible. But most importantly, I think the big role he will play, more, not as a decision maker, but as a listening post. That is something the Congress party rank and file were missing. The constant complaint was there was nobody they could meet easily, that there was issues of accessibility, both with Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi, so they could not meet the Congress president. Of course, she had her health issues and other things. So this particular problem, the very fact there is to be a president in the office in AICC, whom the party leaders can take time, can go and meet, tell their problems. I think this itself will give a lot of relief to the rank and file. Now, what will happen after all those complaints are processed depends on the merits of the case or the decision that the party would like to take. But fact that a listening post has been created, that will be there. But having said all that, but we also know that Kharge has limitations. The limitations are also about his age. The fact that he is already 80 years old, you see, he may not have that much of energy to be a very active Congress president, traveling everywhere, meeting people. That may be a little difficult. At the same time, will he be some kind of a great campaign manager? Even that is not possible, because Kharge is not such a popular face, or that he can be a star campaigner. But definitely being a Dalit leader, that will play a role. I think the first test for Kharge will be Karnataka, because he belongs to the state. He has also been once KPCC chief. And secondly, the very fact he has become Congress president, in Karnataka, many of the old Congress leaders, in Karnataka, there is an unsaid new Congress and old Congress. New Congress as represented by Siddaramaiah, who came from JDS along with his followers, and the old Congress where, people like DK Shivkumar and others. So what role, Kharge is very close to DK Shivkumar. Everybody knows that. And in fact, I heard from one Karnataka Congress leader saying that, look, the old Congress has been strengthened, which means they are looking at Kharge as a person who will do a lot of balancing act when it comes to, distribution of ticket, choosing candidate. So Karnataka will be a good case where, because Karnataka is seen as a low-hanging fruit for the Congress. They say that BJP is facing a lot of anti-incumbency issues. Therefore, the Congress will perhaps do very well in Karnataka, provided the factions unite, there is no inner wrangling over the candidates or selection of constituencies. So Karnataka holds a lot of future, and maybe victory in Karnataka will, actually validate Kharge's importance. The fact that he could ensure victory in his home state. Of course, any victory in the coming months for the Congress will be definitely credited to Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi. That you cannot escape. Because Kharge himself has been telling his friends, his very close friends, whom I would not like to name, he's saying, look, I am here to take the blame. Because victory means there will be definitely, everybody is going to say, bhai, बिना राजीव गांधी, बिना राहुल गांधी, सोनिया गांधी तो हो ही नहीं सकता. जहां कांग्रेस की विफलता है तो उसका तो जिम्मेदारी मुझे लेना पड़ेगा. एंड आई नो दैट द रोड अहेड इज वेरी टफ. He has said that. Kharge has been telling his friend. Because personally I know Kharge is not very happy that he got disturbed from leader of the opposition. Because वहां पे पर्स भी है, कैबिनेट रैंक का है, during parliament session, and he had lot of freedom there to articulate issues in the upper house. Here, his role is completely different. So this is a changed scenario, and Karnataka is a good, should bring in good news if he plays a big role in uniting factions and is able to manage two big personalities, Siddaramaiah and DK Shivkumar. So Tina ji, this is fraught with lot of things. Who knows, he can be a lucky mascot for the Congress if they are able to win a couple of other states also. But right the moment, it's a tough call, it's a tough job, because Kharge himself knows Congress is not in a great position in Gujarat or in Himachal. Well, we do not know what will happen next year.
Absolutely, but the fact that he comes with a lot of promise, Mr. Fukan, he faces an uphill task, first in setting his own house in order, and of course in challenging the BJP. How do you see, in fact, what do you see some of the immediate priorities for the new Congress president?
I would imagine that his priority should be his own party. More than taking on the BJP, I think he has to do a few things right. Number one, as Shekharji pointed out, as Aditi ji pointed out, I completely endorse. There are issues about the old guard and the new guard, leadership tussles in both the states. They are in power only in two states, Chhattisgarh and Rajasthan. We've seen, had it not been that power tussle in Rajasthan today, in place of Kharge, we would have seen Ashok Gehlot as the Congress president. And, perhaps Sachin Pilot would have been the chief minister of Rajasthan. But that plan of the Gandhi family did not fructify, or, it went awry. And that's why Mr. Kharge was came up as a surprise choice, last minute choice. And that is where he is right now. So resolving those leadership tussles. Accessibility, I think Shekharji just pointed out that his post should becoming a listening post. I think that is very important. Many of the leaders who have left the Congress have said that they've had issues in reaching out to the Gandhis, to the leadership. They would wait for weeks and days for appointments. I think that is something that he really has to address. If somebody wants to come and share his grievance or share a complaint or put up a complaint, Mr. Kharge or the Congress president has to be available. He has to be there to listen to their problems and try and sort out. So that is the second point, accessibility. Third, he also has to put in place an action plan, a blueprint of sorts for 2024. Mr. Kharge has the experience and stature to reach out to other opposition parties. We've seen in the past that when Rahul Gandhi was at the helm, not too many of the other senior opposition leaders like Mamata Banerjee or Sharad Pawar were sort of willing to share space or attend meetings at his call, at Mr. Gandhi's call. But I think that shouldn't be a problem with Mr. Kharge. He has, the heft, the political heft, the stature to reach out to other opposition parties. So that is another thing, but that's more long term. But mainly he has to focus on sort of stopping the high attrition rate that Congress is seeing. He has to make himself available to everyone so that people get this feeling of inclusive leadership, that there is somebody right at the top who's listening to their problems. As far as decision making is concerned, I really don't think Mr. Kharge, or I don't really visualize Mr. Kharge to be taking decisions independently. I would rather go with the third sort of scenario that Aditi ji had pointed out. Decision making, I would imagine, would be more collective, where Mr. Kharge would actually act as the bridge between a large section of Congress leaders or Congress workers or members who has a thing to say on a particular issue, and the Gandhi family on the other side. Mr. Kharge, as the Congress president, will have to reconcile these different views, and I would imagine that decision making would be a collective decision making. That's my sense of how things
right. I think डॉक्टर उपाध्याय, बहुत सारे एक्सपर्ट्स ये कहते हैं कि अभी लॉन्ग टर्म चैलेंज तो जब होगा और इलेक्शन के का जो रोड मैप खड़गे साहब बनाएंगे वो तो अभी बात की बात है। सबसे पहला चैलेंज यही है कि अपनी पार्टी को एक साथ रखना, जो लो लेवल पार्टी कार्डर है जिनका विश्वास एक तरह से पार्टी में कमजोर होता गया है, उसको वापस जीतना और डिफेक्शंस को रोकना, वो बहुत बड़ा चैलेंज होगा। उसमें आप कैसे देखते हैं खड़गे जी को कामयाब होते हुए?
देखिए, अभी 3 पैनलिस्ट आपके हैं, तीनों बहुत ही सम्मानित जर्नलिस्ट हैं और इनके अपने अपने व्यू पॉइंट्स हैं। पार्टी के अंदर भी डेमोक्रेसी का ये तकाजा कहता है कि पार्टी के अंदर भी अपने अपने मत होने चाहिए, और ये दिखाया है चुनाव के प्रोसेस में कांग्रेस पार्टी ने कि सबकी अपनी व्यू है, और सबके व्यू का मतलब डेमोक्रेटिक डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन की बात करते हुए नीचे के स्तर का जो कार्यकर्ता है उसके भी अपने व्यूज से थे, और उसके से का रिप्रेजेंटेशन आज खड़गे जी हैं। तो मत भिन्नता पार्टी के अंदर होनी चाहिए, डेमोक्रेटिक कल्चर का एक पार्ट है, मैं मानता हूं, एक डेमोक्रेटिक संस्कृति है, कल्चर है। जहां तक बात लोगों को जोड़ने की बात है, विद इन द पार्टी के अंदर यदि कोई मत भिन्नता है और उसको यदि पार्टी फोरम पर कोई बात रख करके आगे बढ़ता है, मुझे लगता है कि ये सौभाग्य है और खुशनसीबी है उस पार्टी की। पार्टी के विकास के लिए जरूरी है और देश के लोकतंत्र के विकास के लिए भी कांग्रेस पार्टी ये स्पेस देती है। हाँ, उससे दायरे से बाहर हटकर कोई भी करेगा काम तो वो अनुशासनहीनता होती है, उसके लिए भी अलग से हमारी डिसिप्लिनरी कमेटी है और वो काम करती है। खड़गे साहब का आना एक बड़ा जो अभी अलग अलग विश्लेषण भी आपके आए हैं, और ये ओवरऑल हमारे कांग्रेस पार्टी के वर्कर में भी ये बात है कि एक अनुभवी व्यक्ति का जो कांग्रेस पार्टी के विचारों की प्रतिबद्धता से पूरी तरह से वो उनका प्रूवन है, पूरा इतिहास उनका है, तो उससे आगे बढ़ करके हम सब लोग जो है कहीं ना कहीं उन पे पूरी तरह से आस्था रखते हैं और उनके निर्णय सामूहिक निर्णय होंगे, जो कलेक्टिव डिसीजन होते हैं वो। दूसरी बात है कि पार्टी के अंदर, जैसे अभी शेखर जी ने कही कि भाई कर्नाटका में ये गुट ओल्ड और नहीं, कांग्रेस पार्टी है और कांग्रेस पार्टी के अंदर यदि अलग अलग विचार हैं तो विचारों का सम्मान होना चाहिए। CWC की बात उन्होंने अभी की है, उस पर भी कहीं ना कहीं बातें आएंगी और उस पर भी निर्णय जो है कहीं ना कहीं हम इलेक्टोरल प्रोसेस से ही उसको भी हम लोग लाएंगे। ये एक प्रक्रिया शुरू हुई है, ये ट्रांसपेरेंसी पूरी रही है।
Given the limitations that Mallikarjun Kharge has, both in terms of his age, the fact that whether he will have the independence to take his own decisions, do you see him infusing the kind of energy into the party which is required at this point in time?
I don't think he's been brought in to infuse energy in the party. I think he's been brought in to, people have elected him because they see in him a fair person who will listen to ordinary workers, who will have the time to devote to them, to their problems. Both in terms of operational work as well as he will have no favorites. It is to be hoped he will have no favorites. And he has reached a point in his life where he is no longer considered to be a person with his own agenda. He has reached the pinnacle of his career, more or less. So where more can you go from here? The only problem with that is that he will be under pressure to deliver victory to the Congress. That could be in a state like West Bengal or in a state like Delhi even. That could be, in his wisdom, a way of making the Congress subservient to other parties in a possible electoral alliance that might happen. Now that could be a problem for the younger leaders who are fighters, who have their entire political career stretched out before them and can see that if we give up too much, we will have nothing left. So I don't know how this dilemma or this friction, this tension is going to be resolved. But Mr. Kharge has seen it all, so I guess he will find a way to.
It's going to be a tightrope walk for Mr. Kharge, Mr. Iyer, isn't it, in terms of balancing between the old guard and the young guard. But for a party that that chooses Ashok Gehlot over Sachin Pilot, and several young leaders have had to leave the party because of lack of opportunity, because of lack of access to the top leadership, whether Mallikarjun Kharge will be able to live up to the promise of implementing the Udaipur resolution is something that is worth a watch.
Definitely, Tina ji. In fact, all eyes will be on how he constitutes the Congress Working Committee. What the people he is bringing in? Does he bring in fresh faces? Does he bring in more younger lot of people? Or is he going to retain those people who were frequently named and blamed by many of the detractors of the Gandhi family? That these people were playing a lot of role. They were handling the organization without much electoral experience. They were imposing their writ. And I do not want to mention names here, but people are looking at what will be their role. Will they be retained? Because these are the questions in the minds of the Congress people. Because Kharge has come, they may not have problem with Kharge, but who are the people who are going to be part of the working committee? Who will be part of? See, already today the Congress Election Committee, the Central Election Committee of the Congress met to consider the candidates for Gujarat election. So there is not much time now to make those changes, because the first two elections will have to be handled probably with the existing committee. But eventually all eyes will be on what kind of organized changes that have. Will he allow election to Congress Working Committee, or will they go by the old pattern of nomination by the Congress President? Because these will throw light. And also, what about the accommodation of people who had opposed his candidature as Congress President? Because all eyes are also on Shashi Tharoor. See, because Shashi Tharoor, after all, managed to get nearly 11 to 12% of the votes that were polled. That's a very significant number if you consider the kind of votes that Jitendra Prasada got against Sonia Gandhi, or Sharad Pawar and Rajesh Pilot got against Sitaram Kesari. See, these are, so people are saying, will Tharoor be accommodated? And what about the people who supported Tarun? Some of them are very young leaders. They are very active in their respective states. I mean, I would say it was an act of courage for them to support Shashi Tharoor when everybody knew that the establishment, the Congress establishment is backing Kharge. So all these questions come because even that group which backed Tharoor is pinning a lot of hope on Kharge in the sense that perhaps, a lot of accommodation will be done. Of course, the first challenge is Rajasthan. So how do you manage Rajasthan? Are you going to leave it like that? Because that would be, the Gandhi family and the Congress party has accepted the kind of defense that was shown by legislators of Rajasthan who were supporting Ashok Gehlot. How do you handle that? And there is not much time left because there is only 1 year in Rajasthan. Or you forget that episode, let Ashok Gehlot continue because let's all fight together the elections. That is more important. Even that can be taken. But Kharge himself has stressed because he was one of the observers for Rajasthan.
That's
he
right.
himself said that indiscipline is not something that the party will accept.
Challenges abound. You're right, Mr. Iyer. Challenges abound, and we'll have to see how Mr. Kharge tackles each of these challenges. Very quickly, Mr. Fukan, I'll take one last comment from you. How is the BJP viewing at the elevation of Mallikarjun Kharge the fact that a non-Gandhi family member takes charge after 24 years? The BJP over the years had sort of made it a mainstay against the Congress party, alleging that it is a family-oriented party. Now with Kharge's elevation as the Congress president, has that attack by the BJP been blunted? How do you look at it?
To some extent, yes. I mean, if you recall what Sonia Gandhi said in her speech today as the outgoing Congress president, she said that it's a matter of great relief. And it's as if a weight has been taken off her back. Obviously, she meant that, in terms of the responsibilities that she had of running the party, but it's a fact that she's also had to face a lot of attack from the BJP. BJP, who have often called the Congress as a dynastic firm or a family sort of, concern. Obviously, that is no longer true. In fact, now the Congress can always counter and ask the BJP, okay, look, this is what we have done. Now tell us, how did you choose your BJP president? What was your election process? Show us your electoral college. So they can pose a few uncomfortable questions to the ruling party. So yes, to some extent, that attack has been planted for sure. The other thing, of course, is that the BJP will say that this was a fixed match, this was Mr. Kharge will act as a proxy for the Gandhis. But whatever it is, sometime back I had written a piece in our newspaper that what this election does is that it actually puts the onus on Congress's rivals to actually preach or to practice what they have been preaching.
Right.
The BJP has been attacking the Congress for very long for being a dynastic firm. At least now the Congress has an election to show, 2 candidates, an electoral college, an actual vote, an actual...
Undoubtedly, the fact that Mr. Kharge has made history, he brings with himself vast organizational experience, the fact that he's accessible, as all of you have pointed out, and also he's articulate. He comes across as a leader who has good connections with other parties as well. So whether he's able to form that oppositional unity ahead of 2024 is something that's worth watching as well. But beyond that, there are challenges that he has to tackle at the moment, both within the party and in terms of immediate priorities as elections in Himachal and Gujarat are set to take place. That having been said, I'll have to wind up the discussion. Thank you once again to all the panelists for joining us on the program today, sharing your thoughts, views with us and our viewers. And viewers, thank you for your time as well. I'll see you same time tomorrow now. Until then, you take good care of yourselves. Keep watching Sansad TV.